Yes, it actually looks like we finally might be getting very close to a ceasefire here, and now we have more missiles.
What?
This as there's a lot of confusion going on right now as Donald Trump is releasing some very important truth statements on his social media account as people are still waiting to understand the full greater details of this ceasefire that already a lot of people are saying has been violated. Now, there's a lot of fake news out there. There's a lot of disinformation. There's a lot of people that don't understand the timeline of what's going on here. There's a lot of big blowback against people who actually wanted to prioritize America's interest at homes for some strange reason. And the talking points are just getting more and more wilder as we're going to be talking about that and a lot more, specifically when it comes to some speculation at the end of this broadcast about what will be happening from here, as there's been a big buildup, a lot of things that have happened before this, but Donald Trump has announced that there is officially a ceasefire. If you appreciate our hindsight into all of this and being able to predict a lot of the stuff, like we told you 6 days ago, Trump was going to bomb Iran, that's exactly happened. This morning we told you, as soon as the Iranian rockets came off, saying it's probably a wag the dog moment. That's exactly what it was here. If you appreciate it, subscribe, click the notification button, as it looks like the ceasefire deadline set by President Donald Trump has now officially gone into effect. But has it? As, of course, people are like, wait, what time is it over there? People said that at midnight. Is it midnight Eastern time? Is it midnight in Israel, or is it in Iran? As the Iranian state media and the Israeli state media as well have announced that the ceasefire is now in force here, as Donald Trump has announced, and he's given us a little bit more details here because the announcement in the beginning is kind of vague here, and according to a lot of the sources, Iran was surprised by this, so was Israel, and Iran said, if Israel says yes, we'll say yes too, and it looks like Iran said yes, and Israel said yes, and Donald Trump said, Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with great promise. God bless you both. Now, listen, I hope this is correct. There's a lot of messaging on Trump's social media, on Truth Social, talking about peace and harmony. There's another photo that Donald Trump posted of himself with the words peace behind him. And listen, I hope this ceasefire works. I hope it doesn't get broken by actions here. As, of course, during the original announcement of this, we had CNN reporting that Israel and Iran haven't agreed to a ceasefire. This is, again, kind of explaining how there's a lot of confusion here. Now, this article actually came out before Donald Trump released the Truth social media post. And then people are like, okay, all right, now we get it. There was also the Iranian foreign minister that came out and said, there's no agreement. I never agreed. I don't know what is really going on here. And then later he clarified his statement. He's like, okay, we have a ceasefire. As the ceasefire was still being understood by everyone, as it's still not fully understood here, we got the news that senior regime officials were being eliminated in assassination attacks by the Israelis. And listen, even after, this is the confusing part, even after Iran and Israel came and said, it's confirmed, it's in effect here, we now had a fourth Iranian missile barrage incoming into Israel. And there's reports of allegedly some citizens being affected by this, as now we are getting video footage that we played in the beginning of this broadcast of the ballistic missile that went into Israel here. And we have been getting a lot of reports of each country now already accusing them. And we have online influencers and content creators, but Iran did it. No, Israel did it. I think what is happening here is that Donald Trump meant midnight Eastern time in the United States, which is in the making of this video a few minutes from now. Now, praying, hoping no more missiles are launched here, and hoping that there's going to be, of course, no more fighting here and that things de-escalate here. As we're also getting reports that people in Israel were told to leave their shelters, and then a new missile barrage kind of came in there. As there's also a lot of reports coming in right now of drone attacks on U.S. forces in multiple bases. Now, of course, a lot of these reports have not been corroborated. We do not know the exact extent of it, and there still is a lot of fog of war surrounding all of this. Now, listen, blessed are the peacemakers, and as I've been saying here, there's been a strong contingent of people saying this is a war that we don't want to be involved in. If Donald Trump actually listened to his constituents and listened to those anti-war voices, that is great. And there are promising signs here, especially with what Mark Levin just had to say as he came out and said, I hate ceasefires. I hate the ceasefire. Interesting. But there's also a hypothetical theory here that we're gonna tell you at the end of this video that I think still points to potential regime change that could happen in this region. Now, before playing this Mark Levin kind of freak out, we got to pay the bills around here, and we do that by selling good products to you. And one of the products that we sell are T-shirts. We started this T-shirt company because we were attacked previously beforehand. You know, there's a lot of criticism and attacks happening now, very oddly, very weirdly. And I'm like, I've been predicting all of this and being I'll get into those criticisms in a little bit, as people were telling me, there's no war. And now they're telling us, we won the war. And I'm like, which one is it? As we had shirts here that we made up here saying, no more war. As that's been my message for all of my career. I've been doing this for over 20 years, covering geopolitical updates and events here. And that's how we were able to see things before they unfolded the way they did. That's how we were able to understand the situation, I think, a lot better than a lot of the other kind of buffoons out there that were more concerned about their invites to Mar-a-Lago and the White House than, of course, their actual kind of legitimate kind of reporting here. As, of course, we trust God here, not government. And that message couldn't be more true now more than ever. And we had these shirts out for a number of years now. And that's what we have always been consistent on. We were promised no new wars. They're told that there's no war, but we want it. I'm like, okay, the messaging, they have always changed their goalposts. They have always changed their messaging. They have always said, no, you're bad. You don't want war, but there's no war. And I'm like, oh, come on, get with it. I like to represent who I am. Through easy forms of communications, through memeing in real life. And you could do that on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Still, tried and true here. We have another one that says, where's the Epstein client list? We have that in a hat version. We have that in a T-shirt version. This shirt available to you just for $26. As, of course, we got a lot of great finds for you. One thing that you can't say about me is that I have been inconsistent. I mean, the way that we've been, I think, transparent and honest. A lot of other content creators haven't been doing that. A lot of people have been doing wishful thinking. A lot of content creators are just running on emotions here. And I think when we look at all the things that were done here, we have to understand here that if the ceasefire works here, we are extremely lucky. We are extremely blessed, and I will be happy that this didn't escalate that much further. And with all of this happening the way it is, if this is pulled off here, absolutely, I'll be very happy. Now, the fact that Mark Levin isn't happy now is highlighting how there actually might be some legitimacy to all of this. As, of course, there's still some skeptical people out there, and we'll address the skepticism in a little bit. But seeing Mark Levin say this highlights maybe the situation did change.
The truth, too. So we have a ceasefire. I hate this word ceasefire. I really do. The president hated it a few days ago, too. What's needed now is this, in my humble opinion. Iran should be forced to sign a surrender document, unconditional surrender.
Yeah, that means we get to do whatever we want to them. As truly, we have to understand. And then he goes off and compares them to unoriginally the Germans in the 1930s. Yeah, the left-wing people used to do that. Now it's some of the right-wing people that are like, you don't like war? You must hate all people from this religion. I'm like, you guys are being ridiculous here. Viva Frey addressed some of the kind of weird scenarios, situations that are unfolding. I'm dealing with this too. So are a lot of other prominent anti-war voices that were always consistent here, that were always honest with their kind of criticisms here. And he says, if you are a self-proclaimed MAGA, and again, Trump was saying MAGA. I'm like, sorry, I'm not going along with the MAGAs. Okay, if we're gonna do MAGA, we're gonna do MAGA, not the MAGAs. As Viva Frey said, if you are a self-proclaimed MAGA trying to shut down, name, and shame anyone who dared question U.S. involvement in more Mideast conflicts, ironically enough, you're probably not MAGA. More likely, you're just a neocon cloaking yourself in MAGA. Food for thought here. Absolutely, 110% here, as I agreed with a lot of Viva Frey's assessments here. And there's been a few real people out there that haven't really kind of sent out this kind of weird, duplicitous, bipolar messaging that we have seen from other kind of right-wing influencers. Because people are trying to, like, dance on this line of being like, we love you, Trump. But then it's like, don't bomb Iran. And then they bomb Iran. They're like, we still love you. But, and I'm like, listen, let's look at this in hindsight here, as there's now a bunch of people that recklessly instigated a foreign conflict that are now patting themselves on the back because the worst case scenario didn't happen. Now, we told you, even in these videos when we were talking to you, the likelihood of a global world war, we're etching closer to it, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. And we always had a more rational kind of point of view on it. Now, granted, there were some crazy people. Oh, World War II. Okay, I get it. Don't lump in everyone in the same kind of a group here. We specifically told you in these videos, listen, we're etching closer towards this. It's not good. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but this is not a good scenario and situation that I think everyone kind of agreed with, but more people were afraid to not offend people. We didn't have that concern here. But clearly, people have a lot of duplicitous messaging here, as, of course, we were specifically told so many different things. Oh, no, Trump didn't greenlight this. Trump didn't approve of this. Trump was not at war. This was not at war. We had individuals like D.C. Drano being like, hey, he sent a bomb there, but there's going to be peace. And I'm like, what? What? How is... I still don't understand it. I still don't get it, as people were saying, you're not at war, but now they're saying, we've won it. We won this, as they're now declaring this the 12-day war. I hope, and I pray, it is just going to be a 12-day war, and it's not going to expand here. Wars are very easy to start. They're very difficult to contain and stop, especially when you have multiple parts here, especially when you have the potentials for false flags, when you have the potential for sabotage efforts, and when you have the potential of emotions getting high, other countries saying, screw it, we're going to continue on this pathway here. Now, Millie Weaver has something interesting to say here. She says, we won the 12-day war, but what did we accomplish, and at what expense? Yeah, what's the bill here? How much money did we spend on all of this? I want to know, personally, myself. And did we really need to do all of that? Some people would argue yes. But those same people were telling us that Iran was going to nuke New York City. I thought that was a little bit more of a hyperbolic statement than MTG and Tucker Carlson saying, we love you, Trump. We love you, Israel. But please, let's take care of the interest at home first. Okay? I didn't think Tucker Carlson and MTG statements were offensive. But there's now people now dunking and attacking Tucker Carlson and MTG. The people we should be criticizing are the people that were hyperbolically, sensationally telling us Iran's going to nuke New York City. That was insane. She says Iran never had nukes and still doesn't. Now, according to Alex Jones, Iran does have nukes, and they're showing restraint here. They definitely did show restraint here, too. Now, a lot of these kind of loyalists and bootlickers are saying Iran's a fanatical, crazy religious group that's going to bomb all of us and it's going to destroy. They're sociopathic. They're insane. They showed a lot of restraint today by officially calling up the United States, being like, look, we just want to save face here, guys. We're going to launch the missiles. You empty your A braces. Let's make sure no one gets hurt here. That's not a sign of a sociopathic, crazy death cult that wants more war. That's a sign of someone saying, look, let's just save face here. We want to look good for our population. There was people celebrating in Iran for some strange reason with them bombing. And again, there's fake news everywhere, and the news and the narrative that they're getting in Iran is totally different than what we're getting. But the narrative control on social media, there was a full-on war here, and the war was to try to destroy anyone legitimate. Now I know who's legitimate. Now I know who's bought off. Now I know who during difficult times won't stick to their morals, but will stick to power and authority and acquiesce to it. We don't do that here, and we never will. It's about having principles. It's about having scruples here. Millie says, Iran still has enriched uranium. It's just buried now. Yeah, there's an argument to be made to that. Now, there's conflicting news. The Iranians and the Russians are saying, yeah, we moved all of our stuff. You guys really didn't bomb anything. And then Trump and Israel saying, we bombed and destroyed all of it. Who do you believe here? Again, it's a war. You can't really believe any kind of official government statement here. She says, we spent taxpayer money bombing Iran and supporting Israel with weapons. Israel and Iran have suffered damage from bombings. The once united MAGA base is divided, with half of the MAGA base demoralized and the entire base continuing to infight. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Like Cop, Turd, and Laura Loomer, they're like, we want blood. We hate you. We're reporting to you, to Donald Trump. We're going to tell Donald Trump on you. And we hope there's retribution. I'm like, we were calling for a ceasefire. Like, we're happy that there's a ceasefire. Like, yeah. And people are like, you were right. And I'm like, no. We actually weren't. Like, what are you talking about? And again, this infighting is definitely going to not help Donald Trump in the midterms, if maybe even longer projections. We'll see. If this ceasefire holds, I mean, there's going to be fanatics and there's going to be lovers of Trump, and they're going to love no matter what he does. And listen, there's other people that are just a little bit more principled and want the promises that he promised us. And I'm more along with those people who, of course, are the people who wanted those promises. And those people are Thomas Macy, MTG, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Hodge twins or them too. And there's a few other people that were the real ones throughout all of this. And truly were speaking out in a way that I thought was very principled. And I think you shouldn't be punished for being principled. You shouldn't be punished for saying, hey, America should take care of America and our interests at home first. Like, this geopolitical endeavor wasn't really necessary. Iran really wasn't a threat here. I mean, people are saying this was a brilliant move by Donald Trump. Yeah, but like, it doesn't really change anything for us, does it? Like, I just don't get it. Now, Michael Tracy has more of a nihilistic point of view here. He says, quote, even if the ceasefire Trump announced does bring about the cessation of hostilities, very much in doubt at this point. That's his kind of take on it. And again, I think a lot of people are just missing the timeline here. I think Trump has his own timeline. And I think it hasn't been clearly defined here. Now, hopefully that timeline is respected. I'm praying it does. Michael Tracy is a little bit more black, but he's saying, no, it's not going to happen. He might be right. I hope he's not. He says the idea that he would be showered with credit as a peacemaker for halting a war he instigated and that directly participating in is absolutely a joke. I think there's an argument to be made for that, as people are saying, give him a Nobel Peace Prize right now. And I'm like, listen, let's just see. Let's just see if there's actually going to be legitimate peace here. If there is, do you give credit for someone stopping something that they started? I don't know. Is that something that we think we should give credit to? Let me know down in the comment section below, because I'm kind of thinking like, and listen, I don't want to just hate the guy. I don't want to hate anybody. I want to give everyone a chance here. But when we look back at all of this, what do we really have to show for ourselves other than we helped out this one country in the Middle East? We gave them a huge solid. We risked a lot. Luckily, we didn't lose anyone. Thank God we didn't lose anybody. And there is something to say about the marvels of modern warfare, especially with how precise and how drones are now, and robotics and AI and satellite technology is being used in such a way. And if there's one caveat here is that not a lot of people lost their lives here, thank God. In previous wars with less advanced tech, there was more casualties here. Now again, I think diplomacy is the way to go. Every time diplomacy fails, it looks like it's not good for the leaders who failed at diplomacy. And those leaders are the ones that are kind of responsible for diplomacy failing. It's fair to say diplomacy failed here, and I pray it works here. And if it does, I hope it continues. And I hope it continues to places like Ukraine. And I hope it continues to other places around the world that are on edge, in places like Taiwan. I hope and pray that there is a scenario and situation where blessed are the peacemakers, and no longer do we have to worry about escalations, missiles, bombs. I pray that the people of Iran and the people of Israel no longer have to deal with situations where they have to watch ballistic missiles come into their neighborhoods, into their territories, and into their neighbors' homes. Now, if you want to hate me for being consistent with that message, that's on you. And okay, I'll get the flag. I'll get the criticism. It's okay. I'm used to it. I've gotten it for a very long time. The liberals hated me. The conservatives hated me, and I'm okay with that. And I always have been. If you're watching this channel, you know what you're getting. There's no BS here, unlike a lot of people that I think are full of BS. If you agree, thank you so much for supporting us by getting a t-shirt. Thank you so much for being here and subscribing and clicking the notification button. It means the world to me. And I can't thank you guys enough for your support during these very trying, crazy, insane times that hopefully get a lot less crazy.